If you're getting pushback from your bank, unfortunately, you need to educate them. Send them a podcast, send them the rules, whatever. Educate them, make them do some education and prove they even deserve your business. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. Thank you very much for being here. Okay, today is going to be short and sweet because this is not a complicated topic. However, somebody asked me this the other day, said I should do a podcast topic on it. It is a great idea. I've never talked about it before, but I do have some experience with it. So he asked, have any of your clients ever run into a problem with the bank not giving them a loan because they have a policy loan? And the short and sweet answer is only once. It's only happened one time that I can remember off the top of my head. However, let's just talk about what happens when you have a policy loan. If you have a policy loan, that does not get reported to any kind of credit bureau. They can't go out and pull up where you have loans. It does not show up on a credit report. It does not get reported. And so there shouldn't be an issue. I don't tell them that I have policy loans. The last time that I filled out a bank note, which was just a couple of months ago, I'm trying to think if it actually asked me for policy loans. It did not. It asked me for cash value, but it did not ask me for policy loans. And so if you have to disclose it, absolutely disclose it. Like there's no reason to hide it. But if they're asking for cash value and they don't ask for loans, then I'm not giving that information to the bank because it should not matter to them. The death benefit is collateral to the loan. So the one time that I had a client that had an issue with this, I almost had to call the banker myself and give them a piece of my mind. The client called us and said, hey, the banker has some questions about this whole life I have. And I said, well, then answer the questions, right? Here's the thing. I am happy to help my clients 100%, but I am not going to spend time with your banker to teach them about whole life insurance. You are more than welcome to give your banker the book. Give them the Infinite Banking book. Give them the Farming Without the Bank book. Give them the Life Without the Bank book. There's a number of books that they can read. And if they are truly giving two shits about their business, they will actually read a book, right? If they choose not to read the book, then how committed are they to helping you? Okay. So I told him, well, then by all means, give them the book, tell them about it. The banker called us to get information on this client's policy. And I said, hell to the no. You are not getting private information. This is a contract between the life insurance company and the insured. You are nowhere listed on this contract. You do not have your name anywhere on this contract. You do not get information on what this client has going on in his policy. And that banker, I believe she contacted us twice. And the second time, I was mad. And I called the client and said, do you know your banker is calling us to ask us about your policy? This is none of their business. Your death benefit is collateral to that loan. You have zero obligation to pay this back. Has this banker read the book? Has she educated herself and done any sort of research? Has she walked over to the investment department of the bank, if there is one, and asked them about whole life insurance? Because she has zero right to that information. And I will not speak to her because that is not my client. And I am not giving out confidential information. I don't ever know what happened. I never heard back. He was mad because the banker never called him to say, hey, I'm going to call your insurance agent. No. We're not going to have that conversation with the client. We're just going to call the agent behind the client's back. My advice was find a new bank. Because if your bank is trying to control what you do outside of that bank, we have a problem. And maybe it was a client issue, right? Maybe the client was not paying their bills or whatever. I don't know. I'm not getting involved. There's always two sides to every story. But let me tell you, should it matter that you have a life insurance, a cash value loan, should it matter to the bank? No, it should not matter because your death benefit is collateral. There are no requirements from the insurance company that you make that payment. That is a contract between you and the company. That has nothing to do with the bank. The only time the bank would ever have rights to that is if the bank took that policy as collateral to a loan. So if they did that, then yes, they now have rights to that policy, which is why you don't ever want to do that. You don't ever come in there and say, hey, let me give you my life insurance policy as collateral to that loan so I can get a better interest rate. No. There are people out there telling you to do that. No. I have a couple clients that have done it. Don't agree with it. Okay. So if your bank is doing that, they don't understand why. They better start to understand because chances are a high likelihood is that your bank actually has cash value owned life insurance. They probably have some BOLI. It's called bank owned life insurance. And they could possibly be using it. If they're not using it, they understand what cash value is. And so if your banker doesn't understand it, it is their job to look into it. My banker knows that I tell people not to use the banks. He knows I've authored the books. They all laugh at me when I come walking in the bank, right? I'm just saying, hey, bank is plan B, not plan A. That loan has nothing to do with them. Nothing. Because there are no restrictions on the loan. None. And if your banker hasn't seen it, they need to educate themselves. It's not just my company that does this. Every whole life company, every company that writes life insurance does this the same way. I don't care if it's whole life, IUL, UL, VUL. Of course, I don't like all those other ones, but it does not matter. You can take a loan. You can borrow against your policy. Your death benefit's collateral. It's that simple. So if you're getting pushback from your bank, unfortunately, you need to educate them. Send them a podcast. Send them the rules. Whatever. Educate them. Make them do some education and prove they even deserve your business. I have just never had any pushback from any banker I've ever used. They know what it is. I have thousands of clients and they have never had pushback except one. One. And that bank is most likely trying to make it very hard for that client to get a loan. And they were using that as an excuse when it's really no excuse to be used. So most understand it. You should not have a problem. There is no credit bureau. All should be good in the world. Okay, that wasn't very long. Short and sweet today. If you guys have other suggestions, please let me know. I love podcast suggestions. If it is, I don't take every single one of them and do a podcast on it because some of them I've either done a podcast on or maybe it's not a topic I see fits or something. I don't know. Let me know though, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. Go grab your books, schedule your appointment, and then we can talk about if this is a fit for you. All right, you have a fantastic rest of your day.